Well, nice to see you're back, and we're going over some more equipment here. And this is a gas cutoff saw, gas concrete saw it's called. They have certain brand names, of course, and there's many of them around of different makes, but the principle is the same. You've got a round blade. This particular one's a 14-inch diameter blade. There's also 12-inch, 16-inch. This is probably the most common, a 14-inch in the rental industry that you could rent. And just to touch on for a second, the blades, this is a diamond blade, of which there were many different grades for cutting green concrete, what we call concrete that's just poured. So you're going to put the control joints in after you've poured it. There's regular concrete, hard concrete. This can also cut steel if it's embedded in the concrete, not loose, this particular blade. There's asphalt blades. There's a whole variety depending on the materials that you're cutting. Some for interlocking stone, say Indian stone. So if you get a general purpose blade that you may get from a rental house, yes, because it'll do the cutting, but yes, it could cut better or worse depending on the material. And you always have to, if you're doing a lot of cutting in a certain material, specify a certain blade for a certain material, which you may have to, of course, purchase. Now, the biggest thing you run into in gas saws is if you want to cut some pipe, you want to cut some concrete, you want to cut around some steel out of a scrapyard or wherever, you'd use a steel blade, probably an abrasive blade. This is the way all the saws were using before diamond blades. This is an abrasive blade. You'd have them for cutting steel, you'd cut them for cutting asphalt, concrete. Those were the three major types of blades that you would purchase, and then you put that on your saw and you'd go and do your cutting. And of course, the downside is that the abrasive blades wear down. The more you use them, the smaller they get, the less depth of cut you can have, whereas you maintain a depth of cut on a diamond blade, which is kind of nice. It's always the same virtual depth, except for maybe 3/8 or half an inch on the end where the actual diamond is. But once you get down to the steel, of course, that's about as far as you can go, and the diamond blade won't cut anymore. But there's a lot of advantages to using that. But the biggest thing I wanted to show you here with these concrete saws is the starting and the use. The biggest problem you run into with gas saws is people flooding them when they take them. May not take the time to learn how to start them when they pick them up, or you get them from somewhere, but there's usually an instructional sheet that would be given, certainly here at Larry's Rental, on how to use it. But again, you've got to read it, and not everybody wants to take the time or a few seconds to read it. So just to go over a couple of things quickly. All right, the saw, to start, if it's cold, it starts differently than when it's hot. So if it's cold, just turn it on. Don't pull the trigger and lock it. Lock the trigger on, just turn it on. Pump the plunger ball here where the fuel is till you can see the fuel in there. Once you can see the fuel in there, that's enough pumping of the primer. Put your choke all the way on. This is if the saw is cold, hasn't been running, say, the last 24 hours. Put the choke all the way on. You can put it down on the ground if you wish. I could particularly prefer to hold them, and you give them a good pull, and they need a good strong pull. Now once you get that sputter, get the choke backed off to half. Now once I start it now and it runs at half, I'm going to get the choke right off. I'll just turn it off. But it started no problem. Now if you keep pulling the recoil and keep pulling and pulling, after it's sputtered, you're going to flood it. The only thing you can do then is let it sit, or you have to have the plug pulled out and it blown out so you can get the excess gas out of the piston cylinder. And so it's easy to start, as you've seen. This was dead cold. I just brought it out and started it by following that procedure. They use 2-cycle gas, remember? That's gas that's mixed with oil, and there's a lot of good fuels now that are pre-mixed, like Aspen, which is a terrific fuel, lasts up to 5 years, and you don't get the smell from the gas or anything as well. So there's a lot of advantages to using a premium fuel that's premixed like Aspen, which Larry's Rental has. Now, if we turn around and take a saw, this particular one's been running. Same idea, we don't have a blade on it. But what we're going to do is turn the saw on. The saw has been running within the last 24 hours, actually probably 5 or 6 hours ago. We're just going to put the choke on half. We're not going to put it on all the way. We'll make sure there's gas in the primer bulb, which there is. And again, just on half. And when you pull it, you get that sputter. Get that choke off. Again, starts right away. Good things to know, good things to watch, good things to pay attention to. Particularly if you got a saw and you don't use them all the time, or you've borrowed it, or you've used it for part of the day and you go back to use it again. They don't start the same. So it's a good thing to pay attention to learn the correct starting of a gas cutoff saw. So there's something maybe that will be helpful in your jobs. Again, if you're holding a saw and doing say a control joint or something, a good way to hold it is just a straight arm cut like this, and then all that dust and debris and everything is going to go between your legs instead of all over yourself. But in any case, a good all-around tool for many jobs. So there's something else to consider, and don't forget to subscribe.